Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss American Hustle, starring Christian Bale, Bradley Cooper, Jeremy Renner, Amy Adams, and Jennifer Lawrence, directed by David O. Russell. Now, I remember going to the movie theaters for this, and I remember really liking it, but is it the same today? Well, let's talk about it. We open with an old school Columbia Pictures slash Atlas Entertainment and Annapurna Pictures logos with a text that says, "Some of this happened," which could make sense depending on who you talk to about this subject, but I don't really choose to believe it because wasn't alive then. On April 28th, 1978, in the Plaza Hotel in New York, we meet a chubby Irving Rosenfeld, played by Christian Bale, fixing his hair as he's committed to this role like he did with The Machinist, to Batman, to this, to hell, even Vice, where he played Vice President Dick Cheney. And it shows how good of an actor he is in this movie, despite I'm not a big fan of his, including here. He works with his girlfriend Sidney Prosser when they work for Detective Richie, who's played by Amy Adams, Sidney is, when they work for Detective Richie DeMasso, played by Bradley Cooper, as they work on a case to get Mayor of New Jersey Carmine Polito, played by Jeremy Renner, into some jail time. And as they meet with the mayor of, or Carmine for short, as Richie tries to hand over a briefcase to Carmine and flips out and walks out of the meeting with them and Irving cleaning up Richie's mess and talks Carmine into working with Irving without Richie involved because he doesn't like Richie. And honestly, in my opinion, these characters come off pretty unlikable. While Irving tells his backstory about how he was a kid when he broke windows and his father fixes them for his business, and he meets Sidney for the first time at a party. And this opening came off to me a little sour. And like I said before, the characters come off unlikable in my opinion. And they were always fighting for any reasons that might have gone bad, and I'm like, oh great, we got another I Heart Huckabees on the way. But this movie is starting off a little worse than I Heart Huckabees, but it proves itself by the end of the day. The cinematography made the movie look late 1970s, and I do appreciate it, but the acting by the actors I brought up so far is really mediocre, as it as it was as it was great, or as far as I'm concerned, not great. We learn about their relationships as we go back before any of this shit with Richie ever begins, with Sidney reintroducing herself as Lady Edith Greensley. I don't know if I said that right, please forgive me. And we learn more about her split personality as both Lady Edith and Sidney as she starts a company with Irving. And this is going back and forth before meeting Richie and was driving me crazy. Like, he's in the starting of this as we go to the flashbacks of knowing Irving and Sidney before they ever get arrested by Richie, which I'll get to at some point in the show. As we learn Irving is married to Rosalind, played by Oscar winner for the second time, Jennifer Lawrence, as they have a son together named Danny, and she starts fires in the house, as we'll see it later in the film, as they argue a hell of a lot. But that's what married people do from experience. I've never been married, but I've been around people who've been married. And Jennifer Lawrence is once again the best thing about a David O. Russell film, as she has 2 trophies thanks to him to begin with. They meet Richie for the first time in a meeting while working for their company, and suddenly he with the FBI arrest Irving and Sidney while working together, and he won't let the couple see each other for 3 days straight, while sitting in the police questioning room for hours as he's interrogating Sidney as Edith. And we move on back to the job, and I'm thinking this movie is breaking my balls, while I'm disliking the characters as well as this movie. Sidney wants to leave the country, while Irving says to her he can't because of Danny and the FBI, and they have an argument about them as a couple and how it's bullshit. And my problem is this writing isn't making me care for the characters nor any of the shit happening in this fucking movie. They talk about a plan to get the mayor in prison of New Jersey, I'll say, while in an art gallery, while talking about how the art is a fake. And this is a long movie at 2 hours and 18 minutes. 30 minutes could have been cut out, honestly, as it's about argument after argument, as this movie is very sentimental to the point I'm going to need therapy. And that's not what I want in a movie. And this is a part of the reason why I didn't like Marriage Story, which I reviewed early, 1 year before the Oscars. And Revolutionary Road was another movie I did not like. And you know what? I'm starting to realize I'm not a fan of the dramatic movies about sentimentalism. And those two movies fall into that category as well as this movie, as this annoys the shit out of me, and I get the impression these characters don't like one another, like the dramatic behind the scenes of Don't Worry Darling, which came out recently, and I will review that next after I review this movie. And the fact that these characters don't like each other is souring in my mouth. After Irving gets Carmine to work with him, he's going to dinner with him, his wife, and Rosalind, as he tells Richie he doesn't like him, and he brings up the dinner, and that night comes, and Sidney calls Richie to get together with Irving. Rosalind, Carmine, and his wife have dinner together while Rosalind has had too much to drink, as this is a second time Jennifer Lawrence stole the David O. Russell movie, and we'll see if the third time comes the charm when I get to Joy next time, as I remember absolutely nothing about that movie, but I do like her as an actress, but her character is not the greatest in my opinion, despite she's the best performance in the movie. The scene when Richie and Sidney are in the bathroom fucking in the bathroom stall while people are rudely interrupting was just painfully horrible to watch, while they go out to dancing with one another. And this movie needs some trimming down, like 30 minutes needs to be trimmed out of this movie, as it's, like I said before, it's a very long fucking movie. Carmine and Irving have breakfast together, and Carmine gives Irving a microwave where no metal can go in or else it will explode. Rosalind does put in metal in the microwave 2 scenes later, and that's what happens if you don't read the fucking box. As she goes to a party with Irving, Richie, Carmine, and Sidney, as they take Paco Hernandez, played by Michael Pena, as the interpreter, as he speaks a little of the language they want him to speak, which I can't remember what it was, as they get to the party and make quite a scene with some people whom Irving, Richie, Hernandez, and Sidney are afraid of, and she comes off to them to flirt with them, as this is embarrassing for Jennifer Lawrence, as I can't believe she won the Oscar for the second time for this particular role, as she screws up their plan, and it screws up the movie in my opinion. They meet with Victor Talagio. Let me see if I said that right. No, I don't think I did. But anyways, played briefly by Robert De Niro, as Hernandez doesn't speak the language he was chosen for, as he fucks it up by not speaking it when Victor talks to him. And despite I really like Robert De Niro as an actor, but this scene unfortunately could be trimmed out as well. Meanwhile, Rosalind meets another guy who she ends up with at the end of the movie. I think his name was Pete. I'll get there. And the movie, and goes to the bathroom as Sidney follows her there and talks shit to each other. And Rosalind kisses Sidney girl to girl. And I'm not angry with this movie. I'm just not engaged with the movie. And that party scene is proving my point as far as the editing is concerned, as it gets too goddamn long. It just takes too goddamn long. What the fuck do you want me to tell you? Irving gets a gun from a safe. For what reason? I'll explain in the next segment. Richie goes to Sidney's place to use the phone and demands from his boss to get a floor at the Plaza Hotel, and he refuses, and Richie hangs up and kisses Sidney, which he only knows her as Edith this entire time, and Sidney confesses to Richie her real identity while he kisses her, and he's freaked out, and Irving comes in with the gun and points it at Richie and calls his boss to beat the living shit out of him, as we see part of it, but the rest was off screen, sure. He confesses how sorry he is, and I'm calling bullshit as it doesn't turn out fucking believable. I mean, he did say it to begin with, and the Bureau Human Resources take Richie's case seriously. I mean, Jesus Christ. He comes off like a prick behind his boss's back, for Christ's sakes. They reserved the floor at the Plaza Hotel to get the mayor to confess his crimes, but it doesn't help when Rosalind tells her new boyfriend Pete, yeah, that's his name, the calls he gets from And the boyfriend Pete goes after Irving and puts him in a mask with Carmine, and while Live and Let Die plays in the background, which was kind of amusing. And Irving yells at Rosalind and puts Danny in another room while they argue and agree to get a divorce after he confesses. And I can't believe this is what I watch after watching The Fighter and Silver Linings Playbook. And after those two films, I will never watch this one again. Well, maybe we'll see about the next one, but I'm not sure. After this review, Irving, Richie, Sidney meet with a lawyer and wire some money, and as they leave, Richie celebrates the end of the case, and Irving and Sidney talks with Carmine and confesses the FBI is after them and did what they wanted in order to get closer to Carmine, and Irving gets forced out of the house, and Sidney tries to cheer Irving up, and they meet the head of the FBI so that they can get rid of Richie and gets the FBI off their back by framing Richie. And as they walk away, Carmine and his friends get arrested and thrown in jail, and Richie is fired, or something like that. I don't know how that movie explains it. And Irving and Rosalind are finally divorced, and Irving and Sidney, and Rosalind has Pete, or Irving has Sidney, while Rosalind has Pete. I should have rephrased that. And they share custody of Danny, and this climax is pretentious. And at the end of the day, I'll never watch this movie again. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 4.5 out of 10. I don't like the characters, nor do I care for them, as they're always talking shit about each other, as the writing is making me dislike the fucking movie, like the way I am disliking this now. The fact these characters don't like each other sours in my mouth, and the script is very problematic. Like last time, Jennifer Lawrence stole the movie, as she was the best performance in a David O. Russell film 2 times in a row, and we'll see how Joy goes by the next time. I did appreciate the cinematography, as it felt late into the 1970s, but at the end of the day, this movie is overly sentimental and is 30 minutes way too long at 2 hours and 18 minutes. And it needed some trimming, so it's unfortunately for me a mild non-recommendation because of those reasons, and I brought up during the rating of this movie. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next time I will be back with Joy. And until then, to live and let die.